Hi guys, let us continue our discussion regarding cell physiology. In last session, we discussed about cell membrane, we discussed about some of the cell organelle. Now, today we'll continue with some other organelle and nucleus. So, here, starting with one organelle, that is peroxisome. These peroxisomes, they are structures which are similar to lysosomes. Okay? We discussed lysosomes in last class. So they are similar to lysosomes, but they are different in two ways. Okay, which are these two ways? Number one, they are formed by self-replication or budding off from the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. These are formed from smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, these are predominantly present in liver cells as well as present in the tubular epithelial cells. So liver and tubular epithelial cells. Second difference between lysosome and peroxisome is peroxisomes, they contain oxidative enzymes. Oxidative enzymes. Like the enzymes are catalase, urate oxidase and D-amino oxidase. Okay? Now, what are the roles of this oxidase enzymes? These oxidase enzymes, they are concerned with breakdown as well as breakdown and removal of hydrogen peroxide H2O2, that is an oxidizing agent, as well as related with the removal of free radicals. Okay, another important thing is here is this peroxisomes, they have catalases, and this catalases, they act on the H2O2 to liberate oxygen. Okay, now applied aspect related with the peroxisome, important one, this catalases, they also available in the drugs. So sometimes some drugs are given having this catalases. Okay, and these drugs are known as pseudo catalase. These are useful in some diseases in which large amount of free radicals, this H2O2 is a free radical. If large amount of free radicals are produced, like in some diseases like in vitiligo. Okay, so here this pseudo catalases, they are given, and this in vitiligo, because some of the free radicals they produce, they destroy melanin. Okay, so now let us discuss about functions of peroxisomes. One function of peroxisome is they are related with the degradation of toxic substances. Which toxic substances? Hydrogen peroxide and other metabolic products. Some detoxification metabolic products, if they are produced, they are degraded by peroxisome. Okay. Second, they also cause breakdown of some fatty acids, commonly long chain, the fatty acids having long chain and very long chain fatty acids. Here, applied aspect related with the breakdown of long chain fatty acid, that is oxidation of long chain and very long chain fatty acid, that is through phytanic acid oxidase. Remember this one. This is applied one. Phytanic acid oxidase enzyme. If this enzyme is not present, if it is deficient, the disease produced, this may be asked as MCQ. The disease produced, that is known as Rabsom's disease. Okay, and this is known as, the name of the disease is peroxisome storage disease. Peroxisome storage disease. Okay, another function, third function. So first we discussed degradation of toxic substances, long chain fatty acids, very long chain fatty acids. Another function is they are also related with the gluconeogenesis of fat. Means from fat glucose is produced. Alcohol is also detoxified, mainly that is by peroxisomes of the liver cells. And this large number of peroxisomes are present in our liver cells. So this is all about peroxisome. Next is centrosomes. This we have discussed. Next is centrosomes, which are also known as centrioles. These are centrioles or centrosomes. You can see here. They are two, always in pair, two short cylindrical structures. Okay, and these are visible only during cell division. Where are they located? Near the nucleus. Okay, and they both are present at right angle to each other. Okay, and now this centrioles, their walls, they have microtubules. Okay, and these microtubules are in triplet forms, like this bundle of three, like this in their walls. This kind of bundle of three triplets are present. Okay, they run longitudinally. This 9 triplets are present. Okay, around the circumference, and these microtubules, they make these triplets. Okay, so if centrioles are not present, cell division is not possible. Okay, so what is the function of centriole? Movement. Their movement, they cause movement of chromosomes along with this microtubule during cell division. So this is another important organelle of cell, centriole. Secretory vesicles. These are the vesicle, means they are vesicle like structure. They have limiting membrane, the covering membrane is there. They have the vesicle, the name itself suggests they have secretory substances inside. Okay, they are produced from endoplasmic reticulum. Endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, after production they are processed, packaged same way, post translation modification and all, in the Golgi apparatus. Okay, and they are converted into vesicle. Now these vesicles, they store the substance, and whenever they are required to be released, there is rupture of the vesicle ruptures and the substance is released in the cytoplasm. Okay? Now another important organelle of our cell, that is very important one, mitochondria. Other name for mitochondria is powerhouse of the cell. That is our powerhouse. Yeah, means produces power. That is, what is the power of cell? That is ATP. So mainly concerned with the ATP synthesis. How? By oxidative phosphorylation. Oxidative phosphorylation. Okay, rylation. Another important function of mitochondria is it is also concerned with programmed cell death, which is known as apoptosis. Apoptosis, that is programmed death of the cell. Okay, now what is the shape here? This is the mitochondria. It is like filament or like a globule. Length, if you can remember, length is 5 to 12 micrometer, and the diameter, this is diameter, that is 0.5 to 1 micrometer. These are the sites for aerobic respiration, aerobic glycolysis. Okay, and energy is produced. So another important thing, cells, depending on their activity, metabolically active cells, they have more mitochondria. You know, if the cell is more active, thousands of mitochondria are present. Now the structure. Mitochondria has two layers, outer and inner. You can see this is outer. Outer one is smooth membrane. This is outer one. This one is outer membrane. That is smooth. And covered with the enzymes for biological oxidation. So they provide raw material for this biological oxidation reaction. The reaction takes place inside the mitochondria. Inner membrane, you can see here, that is in the form of shells. Shells like projections. These projections are known as cristae. Cristae. And this cristae, they contain enzymes. They contain oxidative phosphorylation enzymes for ATP synthesis. Okay, so they are either ATP synthetase or other enzymes for ATP synthesis. Okay, now in between these two layers, you can see here there is a matrix. Between these two layers, another important structure here, that is lollipop shaped globular structure. These are globular heads. Okay, and they also store energy. They contain ATP and store energy. Okay, inner cavity has got, as I told you, matrix, which has again enzymes for TCA cycle or Krebs cycle, TCA cycle, and other for the respiratory chain oxidation enzyme. Okay, now This is the structure we discussed. Now functions of mitochondria. First function of mitochondria is it produces energy production. Okay, as we have discussed, it is the powerhouse of the cell, so main function is energy production. Okay, and as I told you, if the cell produces more energy, large number of mitochondria are present. So mitochondrial enzymes, they cause oxidation of nutrients. Suppose glucose is there, that is aerobically oxidized to produce energy. Okay, and it is in Krebs cycle, it is converted into carbon dioxide and water, and ATPs are released. And this ATPs, they provide energy. Second important function is this mitochondria, they are self-replicative. Self-replication or self-replicative organelle means they have their own DNA, like the DNA in nucleus. Okay? And this DNA contains, DNA of mitochondria, it contains 16,500 base pairs. This DNA of mitochondria, it plays an important role in the self-replication. Okay, so self-replication means one mitochondria produces another one, mitochondria produces the other one. Okay, and so when ATPs are required, this mitochondria, they replicate and they produce ATP. Okay, now this DNA present in the mitochondria, that is maternal, means from mother it is inherited, maternal DNA. So maternal inheritance. Okay, now another important applied aspect here is this mitochondrial genome mutations. This genome, this DNA genome is getting mutated. So this mutation, they are more common, 10 times more common than nuclear genome. And this repair is also not very effective as compared to nuclear DNA or nuclear genome. Okay, so mitochondrial genome works with the nuclear genome and produce enzymes. So both the genomes are there, but this is maternal origin, okay, and this is self-replicating. Okay, now some of the diseases, mitochondrial diseases. So in this disease, what happens? Because of the disease, metabolic rate as well as energy production is very high energy production and high metabolic rate. Yeah, and mainly in this mitochondrial storage disease, our skeletal muscles are affected, as well as, because the skeletal muscles, they are more concerned with the contraction, so skeletal muscle contraction, relaxation are affected, so there is accumulation of lactic acid, so that produces lactic acidosis. Okay, so that is one tissue which is affected, skeletal muscle. Other tissue is GI tract, digestive tract, and third one, that is central nervous system, they are also affected. So if GIT is affected, GI disturbances are produced. If skeletal muscle affected, lactic acidosis, GIT produces GI disturbances. And if CNS is affected, it produces seizures and developmental delay. So if there is mitochondrial disease, growth is affected, and the person is having infection, large number of infections, so susceptibility to infections, that is also here. Okay, so this is about mitochondria. Next organelle, very important one, that is nucleus. This is the nucleus. It is present in all the cells. They divide, the cells, they divide. Division is the characteristic, and it is present in the cells. They produce enzymes. Nucleus is most of the time present in the center. Now, according to presence or absence of nucleus, there are two types of cells. One are prokaryotes. Prokaryotes means they do not have nucleus, like our RBCs. They do not have nucleus. And other one, they are eukaryotes. means they have nucleus. All our cells, most of the cells, they have single nucleus. Okay, our skeletal muscle cells, they are multinucleated skeletal muscle cells, multiple nuclei. Okay, now we'll discuss about structure of the nucleus. So nucleus has got, you can see, nuclear membrane, it has got nucleoplasm like cytoplasm, and nucleolus. Okay, starting with first one, nuclear membrane. So this is the covering as cell membrane. Here it covers the nucleus, it covers the nuclear material, this one. It is also made up of two layers, double layered. It has outer and inner nuclear membrane, and it has pores in between. You can see here. This pores, the diameter of the pores, if you can remember, 1000 angstrom. And this has, they are enclosed by homogeneous membrane. This nuclear pore complexes. Because of this, our RNA enters and exits here. Okay, so these pores, they allow the nucleoplasm and cytoplasm to communicate with each other. Nucleoplasm, the material can enter from nucleoplasm to cytoplasm. So this nuclear pore complexes, they express two proteins. Number one protein is exportin. Name itself suggests export. They move the substance out of the nucleus. And importin, move the substance inside the nucleus. Okay, so substances, they move through the nuclear pore complex, and this substances, they express nuclear localization sequence. Okay, nuclear localization sequence. Okay, now it has got, as we discussed, two layers. So outer layer of the nuclear membrane, this one, it is continuous with the membrane of, this is, what is this? This is endoplasmic reticulum. And the space between these two layers of the nuclear membrane is also continuous with the space here. Okay, the space between this is 300, about 300 angstrom. 4 is 1000 angstrom. Okay, and it is known as, this space is known as perinuclear cistern. Okay, this is continuous with the endoplasmic reticulum space. Okay, next is nucleoplasm. Okay, that is gel like substance. This one here inside, it is not fluid, it is a gel like substance. Okay, and it has, what does it has? It has genetic material in the form of DNA, and DNA which forms gene. Now important thing here, when our cell divides, only at that time chromosomes, they become visible. So these are the chromosomes, you must be knowing like this. Otherwise no chromosomes are present. So otherwise, if cell is not going to divide, what happens? There is clump of dark material, this one, which is present, that is known as chromatin. And what is this chromatin made up of? It consists of DNA plus histone. So chromatin, what is it? It is a thread-like material which consists of DNA and histones. Now what are the histones? DNA molecules, they are packed by some proteins like this one. So these are proteins, are known as histones. Okay. Now, so chromatin we discussed, thread-like material. Then nucleosomes. What are the nucleosomes? So chromatin consists of, this chromatin, it is made up of repeating structural units, and these structural units are known as nucleosomes. What is gene? It is the part of DNA which carries hereditary characteristic, which carries, they are known as units of heredity, that is genetic code. Okay. Then histone, we already discussed, DNA molecules, they are packed with the help of basic protein. These basic proteins are histone. Chromosomes we discussed, they only appear at the time of cell division. 23 pairs of chromosomes are present, okay, in all the cells. In reproductive cells, only 23 chromosomes, no, not 23 pairs. Okay, then comes nucleolus. This is one nucleolus. one or more are present. So if it is plural, that is nucleoli. If there are two nucleoli, so every nucleus contains either one or more nucleoli. Okay, and now nucleolus consists of, okay, nucleolus, it consists of what? RNA plus proteins. Okay, RNA and proteins. Okay, so RNA which is synthesized inside the nucleus, okay, and it may move out through the spores to the cytoplasm, okay, and this nucleolus is the densest part of the nucleus, right? Now, this central dogma of life, what is it? Because we have DNA inside the nucleus, okay, in the form of chromatin. This DNA cannot come out, but this DNA which is present inside the nucleus, it undergoes replication. So first of all, what happens? There is transcription. DNA gets transcripted and the Xerox copy, that is in the form of messenger RNA, is formed. Now this messenger RNA comes out through this nuclear pores, this are, okay, and this messenger RNA, it undergoes translation, on the endoplasmic reticulum, and that causes protein synthesis. After that, the protein is synthesized and post-translation modification, we discussed, takes place in the Golgi apparatus, and it is sorted out. Then it is stored in the form of vesicle and it is used whenever it is required. So the whole process is known as central dogma of life. We'll discuss again. You can see here, this is the DNA. This is transcription of DNA, gets transcripted. You can see formation of mRNA. This mRNA comes out. There is translation and protein synthesis, post-translation modification, and storage in the form of secretory vesicles. Now, so these are the steps we could have. Okay. Now, what are the functions of nucleus? Number one, nucleus controls all the activities of cell, all the cell activities. Because this activities, they depends on protein synthesis. So protein synthesis, that causes growth, that causes hormone synthesis, that causes metabolism. Okay, all are regulated by nucleus. Second important thing is, because for reproduction, cell division is required. So reproduction and multiplication requires nucleus. If no nucleus, no multiplication. Okay. Third, RNA synthesis. For RNA synthesis, we require template, transcription of DNA. So DNA provides template. Okay. It provides message for the synthesis of protein, which passes through the pores of the nucleus, comes out, and there is translation and protein synthesis. So that is also important function. Number 4, it also produces ribosomes, subunits of ribosomes. Why? Because ribosomes, they consist of RNA plus protein. Protein synthesis is also the function of nucleus. RNA is also synthesis, is also function of nucleus. Okay. Number 5, nucleus is the unit of hereditary characteristics. So hereditary characters, they are stored as well as transferred from one person to, or from the parents to the children, or to the species through nucleus. So these are all the functions of nucleus. Okay. Another organelle, that is ribosomes. They are small and spherical structures like this. They are either present on rough or granular endoplasmic reticulum, or sometimes they may also present free in cytoplasm. So ribosomes, as I told you, they consist of protein and RNA. Mainly is RNA. Both are produced from nucleus. Okay. Now, they are also present in the mitochondria. They are present in the nucleus and in the cytoplasm. Okay. What are the functions? Cytoplasm. What are the functions of ribosomes? They are concerned with the protein synthesis. And which are the proteins in our body? Proteins, they form enzymes. Proteins, they form hormones. Proteins, they form mitochondria. Transmembrane proteins are also there. Lysosomes, they are also containing proteins. Okay, so they all are produced from ribosomes. Now, next is cytoskeleton. The name itself suggests skeleton, that is skeletal structure of the cell. So it is made up of complex network of various fibers. Okay. What is the function of skeleton? Our skeleton, it provides shape to our body. It is important for the support. It is also important for shape. These are the common functions of all the cytoskeleton. Shape, support, then movement and responses also. Okay. Now, this cytoskeleton is divided in three groups depending on their size. Largest one, they are microtubules. Intermediate one, intermediate filaments. And I think I have written here. These are classification: microtubules, intermediate filaments, and microfilaments are smallest one. Okay. Now, so first one is microtubules. These are microtubules are the like tubule. So tubule means it is long one. It is hollow structure like tube, and a straight tube-like structure. They are made up of protein, and the protein is a globular protein like this, and the protein is tubulin. So this tubulin chain, it forms microtubule wall, and these microtubules are the structural unit in cilia, flagella, in centriole, and it has various functions. Okay, we'll discuss. So which are the structural proteins of microtubule? Clinically important, they are: one is kinesin, dynein, and tubulin. Now, so what are the functions? This kinesin, it causes movement of substances from the center of the cell to periphery, like this side. Dynein cause movement from periphery to the center, this one. And tubulin consists of alpha and beta tubulin dimers. Means they are in double form, dimer, they are joined together. And the length of this tubulin changes. How? They get assembled, they get disassembled, okay, simultaneously. And this microtubules, they form dynamic cytoskeleton framework of our cell. Okay. Another function is microtubules, they cause movement of substances like vesicles. Suppose this is a vesicle, so vesicle moves here by sliding on the microtubules. Okay. Transport of some vesicles. Also, there is movement of your this centriole, movement of chromosomes, that is also. Now, so as we have discussed, kinesin, it causes movement from the center towards the periphery. So if this is kinesin, it causes movement in this direction, and dynein from periphery to the center, we have already discussed. Okay. Now, what are the functions of microtubules? First function is, as we have discussed, skeleton, so they provide shape, they determine shape of the cell. Second, they provide structural strength. Okay. Third is axonal transport. This is very important, axonal transport in neurons. So in neurons, substances, suppose this is a neuron, they pass from cell body to the synapse. So this direction transport is known as anterograde transport, and in the opposite direction is known as backward or retrograde transport. Okay, so kinesin is important for this anterograde transport and dynein for retrograde transport. Okay, so backward or reverse transport, very important thing here. It is done in case of some of the viruses like rabies virus, and herpes virus, tetanus toxoid. They will pass in this direction and they infect nervous system. Okay. Fourth important function of microtubule, that is they form structures like cilia, flagella. They also form spindles of the cell, spindles, the cell and neuron. Now, dynein is important for this action of the movement, and this causes movement of cilia in the respiratory tract. So this is the respiratory tract, the muscles, sorry, this respiratory tract epithelium is ciliated columnar epithelium. So cilia, they continuously move, and this synchronized movement of the cilia, which is known as macoism, okay, that is towards our nasopharynx. So any substance, any foreign particle, bacteria laden particle, when it falls on the cilia, that is removed easily. Okay, so that is the function of cilia. Also the cilia are important for the movement of sperm, and in the fallopian tube also the epithelium is ciliated columnar, important for the movement of the oocyte, secondary oocyte, and fertilized. Now, what is applied aspect? If this dynein is absent, the ciliary movement is affected, and it is one of the disease in which this movement is affected, that is Carter-Jenner syndrome. We will discuss in detail later on, Carter-Jenner syndrome. Okay. Fifth function here I'll write tubulin, and tubulin, that is in the form of dimer alpha and beta. So this acts as, which forms microtubule. It acts as a guide, cytosolic guide for the intracellular transport of substances like granules are transported, centrioles are transported, protein molecules are transported during division, mitotic and meiotic division. So that is also important function. Now, if we want to inhibit this mitosis, particularly in cancer patients, if we require to reduce mitosis, so we can give this microtubule inhibitor. So this mitosis is inhibited, microtubule inhibitors. They inhibit the chromosomal movement and inhibit the cell division. Okay. So the applied physiology here is vinca alkaloid. This vinca alkaloid, which is also known as spindle poison. What is the action here? It causes inhibition of synthesis of tubular protein. Tubular protein is not synthesized, so spindle formation is absent and mitosis is reduced. So this will be used in the cancer patient. So vinca alkaloid is one. Second drug is paclitaxel. How it acts? It causes stability of the spindles which are formed from the centriole. So this mitosis is again prevented. Okay. Third drug which is used in gout patient. The drug is colchicine. It prevents movement of neutrophils and inflammatory reactions, they are reduced. So this is about the applied aspect. Second one, that is intermediate filaments. So the name itself suggests, now these are not tube-like structure, these are filament-like structure. And these filaments, they form network around, this is the cell, around the nucleus, and also extend to the periphery. Diameter is less than microtubule. Here the diameter is 8 to 14 nanometer. Okay. And as it is from nucleus to the periphery, it connects nuclear membrane to the cell membrane. So it acts as a backbone, scaffold, on which cytoplasmic material which rests. Now, what are the functions of intermediate filament? Number one, they integrate the cell organelle because they provide mechanical strength. So one is strength. Second is shape of the cell is provided. Third, it connects the cell with the other cell. like in desmosomes, we will discuss desmosomes, hemidesmosomes. Okay, connection is through this intermediate filaments. If they are absent, the cell will rupture easily, and if they are abnormal, there is formation of blisters on the skin. Okay, now one applied aspect here is one here. These are specific. These intermediate filaments are specific to each cell type, and they are the tumor marker. They act as tumor marker. Like for example, keratin. This keratin is only present in the epithelial cells. Okay. So if somewhere, if I found this keratin in some other cell, so it denotes that squamous cell carcinoma of that organ. Second, in alcoholic liver disease, the cytokeratin is present. Cytokeratin is present in the liver cells, and this gives appearance like Mallory tank bodies in the liver. Okay. Then this is about keratin. Second is desmin. Desmin is also intermediate filament which is expressed in the muscle, that is present in the muscle, and it is tumor marker for in case of, you may heard the name rhabdomyosarcoma, muscle cell. Okay. Then vimentin, I just write it, vimentin, that is present in the connective tissue cells, like fibroblast, connective tissues and cells like fibroblast. So it is tumor marker for the cells. They are originated from mesenchymal, so mesenchymal origin cells. Okay. Number fourth applied aspect here, that is glial fibrillary acidic protein. This is present in the glial cells, that is glial, that is CNS, and tumor marker for the glial cells like astrocytoma. Astrocytes are our neuroglial cells. Then fifth one is lamine, that is expressed in the nucleus, and if this lamine is mutated, the disease which we have seen in the movie Pa, premature aging the child was having, so that is premature aging it leads to, which is known as progeria or Werner's syndrome. Okay, so these are some implied aspects may be asked in your NEET PG questions. Okay. Then microfilaments. So these are smallest diameter, 3 to 6 nanometer diameter, solid, fine and filamentous thread-like structure. Here protein is not tubular, non-tubular protein, and examples are actin and myosin. Functions are: number one, they provide structural strength. Okay. Number two, sliding filament theory. We all know sliding filament theory. What is it? You can see this is myosin, these are two actin. So actin molecules, they slide over the myosin, and this is important for muscle contraction. Okay. Then third function is, it is important for cell movement. This actin filaments, they polymerize and they cause cell movement. Here applied aspect is there. If the polymerization of actin that is affected, okay, and this polymerization, Listeria monocytogenesis, it causes actin polymerization and it develops poly A tail, and it is important in the characteristic tumbling motility of the organism. Listeria monocytogenesis. Okay. Then this movement is also important. Microfilaments movement is important for muscle contraction as well as phagocytosis. WBCs, they have phagocytic action. Also important for increase in the absorption surface area in the intestine. Okay, so these are all the other functions of microfilaments. Okay, then this we have discussed. Applied physiology, as I told you, Carter-Jenner syndrome. Here this is autosomal recessive disorder. Recessive disorder in which what happens? As we have discussed, dynein is absent in the cilia as well as flagella of sperm if the person is male. Okay, so the ciliary movement is affected. So now cilia cannot move, cilia cannot remove the particle. Okay, so mucociliary removal is absent, so the person is having repeated respiratory tract infection because cilia are not moving, respiratory tract infection. And if the movement of flagella here affected, if the person is male, then that results in infertility because lack of sperm movement. Okay, actin filaments, they form core of some microvilli also. We all know this villi, this is villi. Villi has got microvilli. Okay, so in the villi they have microvilli. So in that core also we have actin filaments, and they join interior of the cell to the neighboring cell through zona occludans and zona adherens. That is also another function of actin. Okay, so and intermediate filaments are different according to different cell type. Like in epithelial cells, keratin filaments, in neurons, neurofilaments. So these are other applied aspects related with the microfilaments and intermediate filaments. Now let us do some MCQs. First one, functions of ubiquitin we discussed. Ubiquitin is related with the binding, transport, degradation and assembly. Ubiquitin tags the protein. If some protein is misfolded, they are tagged by ubiquitin, and it plays an important role in the degradation of protein and disposal of misfolded protein. So our answer is degradation. Okay. Next is true regarding Golgi apparatus is all except cis is a receiving end, trans is a secretory end, it is non-polarized structure and situated near the nucleus. So this is A, B, C and D. So the option incorrect is non-polarized structure. It is polarized structure, means it has cis end which is concave and convex, cis and trans end. Okay, receiving and moving end. Okay, so that is not non-polarized structure. Now third one, sequences of vesicle transport is A, from endoplasmic reticulum to trans to cis to lysosome. B, that is endoplasmic reticulum to cis Golgi to trans Golgi to cell membrane. Endoplasmic reticulum to lysosome to trans to cis to endoplasmic reticulum to transform to cell membrane. So the correct sequence is B1. Okay. Number 4. Autophagic vacuoles fuse with Golgi complex, endoplasmic reticulum, lysosomes and mitochondria. The answer is lysosomes. Organelle to be destroyed is fused with the lysosome. After fusion with the lysosomes, they form autophagolysosome. Then functions of Golgi apparatus is protein synthesis, transcription, glycosylation and cholesterol synthesis. So Golgi apparatus, the function is it adds some of the carbohydrates. Post-translation modification, carbohydrates are added to the proteins. Okay? And this is post-translation modification. So glycosylation is the function. So here we are ending our cell physiology. Thank you so much.